Margaret. All right, what's happening? Looks like we had a little issue there. My apology. Roadcaster has me so screwed up, it's not even funny. I spent all day working on this thing. I have no idea what happened. But anyway, I wanted to get in tonight, give it a run, give it a test, make sure that I get a couple of things cleaned up. Have not been able to test it with Riley or Eric. Eric is sick. Riley's at work. I tried to test it by myself with my phone. I was getting nothing. So it's just been one of those days. Yeah, we'll talk about injuries here in just a minute. Ahmed Hassanin, he will not be back for a while, Attila. That's going to be a long, long time, my brother. Long time. Anyway. Huge win, man. 52 points. Gives us 52 reasons to talk about Ben Johnson. You know what? That's going to be the stat of the night. We're going to let my guy Jeff do his thing, and I'm going to say I need 52 reasons. I need 52 reasons why the Detroit Lions will be fine without Ben Johnson. And I think that we just saw the main reason. We'll see what Jeff comes up with. Hats off to John Morton, man. You know, for everybody that just said, man, he's too quiet. He's too comfortable. He's too this. He's too that. He's not like Calvin. Have you guys ever heard of like oil and water? You know, how it doesn't really mix? Well, that's not what this is. These guys work well together. You know, Dan Campbell is that ultimate leader, the leader of men, the guy that's, you know, the ultimate motivator. But Dan is also like super cool, calm, collected guy. And then you don't want to meet him in a dark alley guy. Like, don't piss him off. Super fiery, aggressive, get you going, right? That's what makes him such a great coach. Is he's able to pull from all of his different emotions. 1 minute, he could be screaming down your throat, and the next minute slapping you a high five and saying how great of a job you did. Maybe he needed to scream down your throat a little bit to kind of get you to wake up and go out there and perform and execute at a high level. So, yeah. You know, bland. Okay, David Lyon says he's bland. It wasn't just you, David. It was everywhere. It was everywhere on Twitter, man. Everywhere. Everyone was just like, "Who's this John Morton guy?" And why is he just so? It's fixed. It's been addressed. Hey, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. You know what I mean? We have no clue what these guys are doing behind closed doors. Nobody does. And you don't know what they're doing in those rooms. I would love to just, I mean, St. Brown said it the other day. Oh, shoot, got this thing. Yeah, we can't call in yet. Hold on. I didn't mean to have that thing flying. Anyway, you'll see the new feature now that it's out. It should be top right corner for you. Top left corner for me is the call now feature. And so when the call now feature is rolling, that means that phone lines will be open, but they're not open right now. So just give me a minute. They're not open right now. Let me get that off the screen. New feature. I can't remember. I think it was J-Rod that mentioned we needed a call button. We needed some sort of a call feature. So good suggestion, and, you know, make it happen. We try to make it happen. Anything that you guys need or want, it's my job to try to make it happen as best I can within reason, right? I can't get you a Super Bowl, but we can talk about it. Where was I? Yeah, John Morton, man, just being kind of just in the moment, right? And that's We don't know what's going on in the room. We don't know, what these guys are saying to each other. St. Brown said it best the other day. He wanted to be a fly on the wall in Ben Johnson's room for just one day. Just one day to hear what he's talking about. And I get it. He's probably heard it before. And honestly, Ben just kind of repeats himself. He's a new coach. He's going to have to find all of his Ben-isms. We've got all these Dan Campbell-isms, but he's going to have to figure out his Ben-isms. And, maybe he'll be known for something. Maybe he won't be. We'll see. We'll see. Right now, he's known for coming home and getting the snot kicked out of him, which is good. He deserved it. Like Jared Goff said, did he deserve all the chance? Hey, I'll raise my hand, man. I was one of them, right? I was one of them. I love Ben Johnson for what he did for this team. I think he did an excellent job as a coach. But I've said it from day one. I don't think that he's totally responsible for what this team has done. Clearly, that statement just came true. Ben Johnson has not been solely responsible for what the Lions have done the last two seasons in 23 and 24. And that's going to be part of my argument tonight. Part of my argument. And I hope some of you guys call in and let's debate it or talk about it or whatever you want to do, whether it's that subject or not. But Ben Johnson, do you believe that he's solely responsible for everything that Jared Goff has been through? And everything that he's done in Detroit? I told you guys a long time ago, I never believed that. Dan Campbell created the offense. Anthony Lynn tried to run the offense. Ben Johnson put his fingerprints on it. But at the end of the day, this offense was built around who? Jared Goff. If Jared Goff is the main focal point of this offense, only Jared Goff can operate this offense. Right? It's built for him. If you plug and pull and put another quarterback in play, it doesn't always look good, does it? Hendon Hooker, Kyle Allen, doesn't look good. It's not an easy offense. This is for a guy that is so cerebral, right? And has the vision and awareness and the speed of the brain to be able to execute the way that he does. So it's not just Ben Johnson. It definitely takes two to tango. But there's also a trifecta going on here, and that involves Dan Campbell. And from a distance, it involved John Morton because he was involved in 2021. There's no secret as to why he's back. He's back because he helped develop this offense, started it with Anthony Lynn and Dan Campbell in 2021. You just fast forward a couple of seasons and a whole bunch of wins. And now people are thinking that without Ben Johnson, it's all going to collapse. And they just proved all of you wrong. Now, this doesn't mean, I'm not saying all of you in the chat, but all of you that thought that Jared couldn't do it. Week one, we had a tough week. Y'all jumped off the boat. The bandwagon, out of the truck, you name it. You guys all jumped out. And now we get one win again, and I'm seeing all you people that were calling for heads. Oh, season's over. And you're dancing and laughing and having fun and posting stuff and putting content out, and it's all good. Yeah, y'all fake. You're fake. You're not a true Detroit Lions fan if you can't stay a Detroit Lions fan for more than a week. I've been a Lions fan for over 40 years. And I know some of you in the chat have been there too. I've been going to games since I was 4 years old. And that does not make me a better fan than any one of you. But you want to talk about die hard, there's one sitting in this seat right now. I've been through it. My dad and I have been at each other's throats about it, right? There's the ultimate, you want to talk about ultimate positivity and homerism. Man, my dad always thinks every year we're going to the Super Bowl. Every year. I mean, that's just part of being a Detroit Lions fan from way back when. All right, born in the 50s. When he was young, we still had some things to talk about. Through his whole lifetime, man, it was just nothing but futility. But every draft, man, he felt like we had a few pieces. And he was right. We did get a few pieces here or there. Just couldn't put it together. So I went through all that with him. I was just more of the realist on the other side that said, yeah, nah, not going to happen. But that doesn't mean I'm any less of a fan. I'm just not going to let my heart get broken year after year after year. I'm going to be real about it. I'm going to set the expectations. And if they perform better than expectations, great. That doesn't mean that I'm jumping off the bandwagon. It just means, hey, this is kind of, I see like 5 wins. You see 12. You know, we have that conversation every year. Look, the season has just started. It's week 2. And I tried to remind everybody last week, what the hell were you all saying after week 2? Were you that crazy about it? Oh my God, the sky is falling. The season's over. Jared sucks. I told you he was a bridge quarterback. Davenport's terrible. Aiden's terrible. Of course, none of you would admit that Aiden had a bad game. And then it's 52 to hardly anything. And now it washes away all of the tears. Right? It washes away all of the excuses. We got a hard-ass game coming up here on Monday night. And we got some injured players, man. We have some injured players like we have every week. So it's rise up, it's do it again. And no matter what, we're going to get through, man. We're going to get through. Trace, I got that text. Thank you. Appreciate it. Special guest on Wednesday. The old Chicken Nugget King, man. He's been making his ways around. I did not get a chance to run into him at the game. But I did communicate with him. I'd like to get him on. We did a show together a long time ago. Long time ago. And I want to get, it's been a while, man. I want to hear what he has to say. So it should be Wednesday morning, mid-morning, 8:30-ish, somewhere around that time. We'll get him in. Let me check out the chat here before I get into some things that I really want to get into. There you go. Robert Cook said, I said last week that they were rusty and they will turn it around. Always have faith. And look, I'm not sure where you're going there with that part, but oh, what is this? Oh, scoreboard. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful thing, man? I'm just going to leave that up there, I think, for the rest of the night. 52-21. With a little extra bacon and cheese, man. 52 burgers. Who else is in here tonight? Trace, of course, David Lyons, who's going to Baltimore. Man, I really want to go. I doubt that I'm going to go. Nick P, Houston getting hit with 1 million penalties, it seems. I'm not watching any games right now. I don't have anything on. I will when I'm done. I picked a terrible time to jump on with all the Monday night stuff going on. Can we talk about how bad it is having Morton in the booth again? Look, I still don't like it, but what did I tell you? I told you it doesn't mean that we can't have a good offense. Doesn't mean that we can't be successful. You got to remember what I said. I never said it was bad to have him up there. I said, I don't like it. I don't like it because I don't like Jared Goff not being able to communicate on the sideline with his coach. I don't like it because the offense can't communicate on the sideline with their coach. So certain people, man, you take one bit of a sentence and you try to twist it all up. You got to listen to the whole thing that I said. I just don't like parts of it. I don't like him up in the booth, period. But again, it doesn't mean that we can't be successful. And a lot of that rides on Jared Goff. It really does. Jared Goff has to be the one. And you know, Dan doesn't have communication. Right? See, the difference for Ben is Ben's calling the plays. So Ben is in Caleb's ear. Otherwise, the head coach is not. That's your offensive coordinator. So he doesn't have the luxury of just walking to the sideline and talking to Johnny Morton, right? He can go walk over to the sideline and talk to Shaw, who's in Morton's ear, or vice versa, or Dan if they get time, if they call a timeout. I just don't like it, personally. I don't. But again, I'll say it one last time. It doesn't mean that we can't have a successful season and a successful offense. They just proved that they could. Yeah, the meltdown in Chicago is real. It absolutely is. It was so bad. Like, I'm terrible on Twitter, and I honestly don't understand how this stuff happens. But my post is over 1.1 million views, and it was because of Ben Johnson. Simply just putting something out there that Ben Johnson, or Jared Goff goes all class, and Ben Johnson, kind of said that guy, that guy from the other team. Didn't mention his name. And I read some of the comments. I was going to go through them tonight. I might just do that in a video instead because it'll be more fun. With some of the comments, people saying like, well, the other head coach would never say the other player's name. What are you talking about? Other coaches say other players' names all the time. It doesn't matter if he was the coach of Jared Goff. It has nothing to do with it. You hear coaches say other players' names, that they're going up against too. So that was just a hack response. Decent pressure this last weekend against the Bears. But as you guys may or may not remember, one of my biggest calls of the week last week was corralling, right? Corralling, containing Caleb Williams. And the Lions did just that. They spent about 50% of their time in more of a zone look. And when I went through my notes again yesterday, after we got off, I was so tired. But I was going through my notes yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to finish all the tape today because I was dialed in on Aiden. I was watching a lot of Aiden, and there was a play in there that I'll discuss tonight. I'll just do it right now. The offensive tackle on the right side, I don't remember his name, Braxton Jones maybe, he dove at Aiden's shins at the line of scrimmage. No flag. You can't just dive at a defender's legs like that, below the knee. You can't do that. And the ball was snapped, and he just dove right at him. Like, that could have been a serious injury. No flag. I was very surprised. So once I saw that, I kind of keyed in on just kind of watching how Aiden performed. Man, he looks weird out there right now. Aiden looks rookie reminiscent to me right now. Over the last two games, if you were actually to go in and really watch the tape, it does not look great. Yes, he got the sack on Caleb Williams that I call it a community sack. He got his hands on him first, but whether Aiden got to him or not, Branch and I think it was Barnes was right there too. They would have got him either way, and that was a pretty late sack. It wasn't like a quick get off sack. And Aiden was not getting off the line well either. Remember when Mike P said the other night that Aiden's going to get steered? That Aiden has this ability to be steered? That's exactly what was going on. He was getting steered. He was getting way too vertical and too deep and in behind Caleb Williams. And there was this giant hole. And I can't believe that Caleb did not take advantage of it. There was 2 or 3 big plays. One, it was a outlet, kind of a screen pass, an outlet pass to Swift on the left side. And there was a giant hole where Aiden got steered up to the right. Big hole opens. It was a fake handoff. Aiden didn't even see if the ball was handed off or not, and totally bit and just kept on going in north, vertical. And if they handed the ball off, that play would have went for, 20. But instead, Caleb pulled it back in and threw it, and it only went for maybe 4. So, huge mistake by Caleb. Bigger mistake by Aiden. He could have gotten really burned badly on that play. And I'm going to put a few plays together, and I'll put out a tape this week because I do want to track Aiden a little bit. I just hope that I have enough time this year to kind of really follow through it all. But as I was going through my notes, here's what I had noticed. Let me get into like the Bears' 6th offensive scheme. It was zone, man, consistently switching it up back and forth. We talked about pattern matching the other day because it's kind of a newer keyword that I haven't used a whole lot. But when you're seeing the guys go from zone to man, that zone is where you're going to get a lot of containment, right? You're going to get a lot of containment from the edge. And that's what I noticed. A lot of 2 linebacker looks in this game, and it worked well. I expected a lot of 2 linebacker looks last week when we were kind of talking through this in the pregame and on Thursday. The Lions did exactly what I thought would work against Caleb Williams. We got 4 sacks, but the sacks were not the defining moments of the game. It was the sticky defense. It was the DBs outside of Terry and Arnold. I mean, Terrian had an okay game. Wasn't great at all. He got picked apart. He's making mistakes. He too kind of looks a little bit out of sorts at times, along with Aiden. He just looks funny to me. Doing some weird stuff with his legs. Like he's worried about his leg. Like this little hop that he's doing. It's just weird. But I'll show it to you guys. Anyway, going through my notes. Every time that we went into a zone look, they couldn't do anything with the ball. And if they did, it was usually a short pass or a short attempt. And Caleb consistently dirted the ball. Like he couldn't throw the ball. And part of that was because Tyleik Williams kept on getting his hands up. And if you guys go back to the draft and us talking about Tyleik, and one of the things that I had spoke about Tyleik is he will get his hands up. And it's something that we've been missing on this defensive line. Getting those hands up, if you're not able to get in, if you're not able to get to the quarterback or create enough pressure, getting those hands up is so important to try to create another way to make a play. Knock a ball down, right? Block the vision of the quarterback as they're scanning, and you got an arm up. You can't see. That arm's probably blocking a receiver now. It's super smart instinctual play that Tyleik plays with. You give him 4, 5, 6 more games, he's going to be a different player by midseason. And by the end of the season, he's probably going to be playing really well. If he continues to climb the trend that he's on, he's looking really good. Nah, not Terry and Okuda, buddy. He's far from Okuda. He has good veteran leadership around him. Absolutely. He has good veteran leadership. And I think that the veteran leadership is going to help him. DJ Reed really stepped up in this game. He played a much better game. Now, I'm going to go through some of the stats here in just a moment. But I can tell you don't like TA, huh? Maureen, good question. Do I think that Aiden is trying too hard to prove himself? He could be. He could be. I think he's... I don't know. I hate to speak on somebody's behalf like that, but maybe he's got a little bit of, worry or nerves, right? Again, why is he hopping around? And it's almost like every time he's going to come in contact with someone from the lower half, he does this little hop. Like he's trying to get his leg cleared out of the way. And it takes him out of the play. And on the play that, I might as well just show you the play. I'm probably going to get hit. But what the hell? Let me just show you a couple of plays. Man, when was that play on Aiden? I need the time. Thought Riley was going to try to make it in, but I sent him the video. Let me see if I can go back in the text and find it and find a timestamp. Oh, here we go. I'm probably not going to find it. Hold on one sec. It was on a touchdown, so that'd be easy to find because there was only 2 of those. Let me show you this play. There won't be any audio, but I think it's important to kind of go through a couple of these. If it gets hit, it gets hit. I'll just clip it out later. Is what it is. Anyway, how's the audio and everything so far? Are we doing okay? We doing good? Yeah, NFL Plus, but don't get NFL Plus, David. You got to get NFL Pro. NFL Pro will give you NFL Plus. I buy it every year and save the extra money. It's like $99 a year. And they're all going up in price, but I'm grandfathered in now. At least they haven't raised my rate. And neither did PFF. PFF raised their rate, and they didn't raise my rate, which I thought was kind of interesting. PFF has another set of stats that I can buy into that media can use, like big media. And I've had a couple of conversations with PFF about it. I'm just trying to find the right price for it. It's so expensive. All right, so on this play, let me get my my dude out. On this play, you're going to see, I believe that's Braxton Jones right there. And watch how, I mean, thankfully he doesn't really come close to Hutch. I mean, he kind of does, but just watch how he just dives right at his legs. Here we go. Look at that. What a dickbag kind of a move. Could you imagine if Aiden would have got hurt here for the season? Look at that. I mean, it's very similar. Now, Derek Barnes was running across the field when he got nailed in the knee. But if that helmet makes contact with a knee or Aiden's, surgically repaired leg or something, and he has a problem, like Ben Johnson, you should be ashamed of yourself, man. I hope you didn't teach that to these dudes. And I don't even know why you would allow them to do something like that. What a shit play, man. Unbelievable to see that kind of stuff. It seems like Lions players get that kind of crap a couple times a year. Speaking of injuries, let's get this out of the way with Davenport. Now, if it's my understanding that Davenport, I know he's been playing with that brace on the left arm, and he's had that wrap on the shoulder too, or on his elbow. He's been playing with that the entire season so far, and throughout some of the training camp. I don't know if he's been dealing with the shoulder issue this whole time, because when he landed on, let me go in and find the sacks. When he landed on Caleb Williams, it didn't look like a hard, like he landed hard. You know what I mean? It didn't look like that would be anything that you should get injured from. And so that makes me wonder, was he dealing with something beforehand? Here, let me get this up for us. And I haven't heard, right? I have not heard. But let's watch this from this angle, and then I'll switch it around. Oh, what's going on here with the video? It's way to the right. Let me fix that. Okay. Blow this up a little bit. All right, let's rewind that. All right, so obviously you're going to see Davenport. Pause. You're going to see Davenport, man. He does a really nice job right here. He's gonna make a nice move to the outside. He's gonna kind of swim his way to the inside, split the tackle and the tight end, and make his way to Caleb Williams. Man, he really nice shed block or a shed here. Does a great job. Or I'm sorry, the tackle and the guard. He splits the tackle and the guard there. Right here, he gets vertical, right? He gets that outside leverage. Now he's breaking. He's going to make his way inside towards Caleb, right? He's going to split. That guard is going to peel away. I don't know why my thing is it's so big. Let me make this smaller. He's going to peel away. So he gets his inside leverage right here. He's going to make his way towards Caleb. This guard is going to then peel off that block, and he's going to go try to get to Davenport in time. He's just a little bit too late. Davenport cleans him up. Bang. So I didn't see anything there when he landed that should have hurt, but watch it from this angle here. It's a really good angle. Let me pause that and get us lined up here. This is a much better angle of the play. It would probably help if I had him in view. This is why I love Davenport, man. Like what he's able to do with his strength and his power, it's just different, right? You don't get guys like this all the time that have his ability. I mean, just look at that long stab arm that he's got going on right here. Look at that leverage. That's a giant tackle. He's got big arms, long arms. Davenport gets really good leverage right here. I wish we had Mike P on the phone, but look at this. He's got real good leverage, getting underneath, good pad level, staying low, right? He's setting his legs back. His knees are pointed forward. He's going to get ready to drive on the drive on the quarterback. Makes a move. Bang. Again, I don't see how that causes an injury. I just don't, but it did. It did. So anyway, you can't see me drawing on the screen? What? What do you mean you can't see me drawing on the screen? Yeah, that's going to suck if it's an AC joint separation. If it's a separated shoulder, then yeah, he's donezo. You should have been able to see. I did this earlier. Hold on. Let me practice that again. Oh, it's not showing up. Interesting. I don't know why it wouldn't be. Well, I just did all that for no reason. If it's not one thing, it's another. But I made sure to test all that earlier, and then now it's not working. I wonder if there's a difference between me being live versus doing video. And that's why it's not working. I wouldn't know why that would be a difference, because all I'm doing is taking in the screen. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. I know what it is. Let me just go back to my source. Yeah, that's a window capture. And this is probably a display capture. That's why. I'm an idiot. Don't agree with that. Okay. Let me dial this back up. While I do that, and we'll get back to Ben Johnson here in just a moment too. I kind of got sidetracked. What has you concerned, or what has you I guess more excited about the Baltimore game? Like, do you see the Lions having a chance? When I see Derrick Henry hardly having any rush yards at all this last game, that gives me a little bit of confidence, especially knowing and seeing how the Lions have been able to handle the run so far this season. If we can contain Henry, I think the Lions are going to be okay. I really do. I think the first goal is making sure that Henry is bottled up. The minute that he's bottled up, I think the Lions are going to be able to control the game. That offense, I believe it depends on both of those guys. Now, Lamar's been able to do it by himself for a long time, right? But that offense is now thriving on both of those guys getting going. Sorry, I'm trying to get this dialed back in here best I can. All right, hopefully you can see that. Here we go. All right, now let's see if you can see this on the screen. Can you see my yellow line? I see it. You should see it. So right here is Davenport. He's going to end up getting vertical on this tackle, right? He's going to bring him up to about here. He's going to get that outside leverage, which I'll show you in just a minute. And then he's going to split him, right? And he's going to cut right in at Caleb. He uses that power. He uses that length like I was talking about, which I believe he's a very special defensive end. He just damn it, he has to stay healthy. The end zone look is a lot better. And again, I just did not see anything on this play that screamed injury. So as you can see right here, he's starting to get vertical, right? He's pacing the quarterback. He's got his eyes on Caleb. And then he's going to make his move here in just a moment. Right there. And you'll see from the other angle what that leverage did as to why he was able to get rid of that tackle. And you can see, I can see, hopefully you can see, this guard is now looking. He's now looking at Davenport. He just noticed that tackle got beat. He's gonna make his way towards Davenport, but Davenport's just gonna split him, just like that. All right, let's go to the end zone look here. I got to fix this screen again. This angle shows how special Davenport really is. And this is why I'm so excited to have him around. We just need him to stay healthy, man. And again, if he only gets in 14 games, like I said, look, that's all you really need him for. You just need him to be in a handful of games this year to help us win some football games. This one was a blowout. And I don't remember what the score was right here, but I'm glad that Dan started to get some guys out, and he's finally not being stubborn with that. Probably could have got him out a little earlier. All right, here we go. Davenport, obviously, right here. All right, so he's going to get long and get some really good leverage, right? Bang. Oh, right there. There we go. I got it stopped perfectly again. So he has this nice long arm right here. He's getting that leverage. I mean, look how he's got his legs, right? His knees are pointed forward. His legs are starting to anchor in. That's giving him that leverage. You can see, let me erase that. He's planted this foot right here. He's planted it. And that now he's going to make his cut in, and he's going to shed this guy, and he's going to split these dudes. Plant gone. Look at that. You see that? That plant foot? Nice move, man. Plant in. Beautiful play. Beautiful play. And Branch was right there, too. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to move on from it. Oh, well. And Branch was right there, too, man. I love seeing Branch up on the line. And that was one of the conversations that we had last week, too, was Brian Branch getting involved, bringing him up as that like a big dime linebacker. Not that we were in a dime look, but utilize him in a linebacker role. And the Lions utilized him a ton in a linebacker role kind of this week, just putting him up close, up in the box, and helping him make some plays, getting him closer to Caleb Williams. And he made some plays, man. He made some big time plays. Branch is... He's that guy that you can't live with him and you can't live without him sometimes. Because he's going to do so much for you. And then he does that stupid play or two every game. Branch is good for a 15-yarder every game. We're just going to have to deal with it. He just needs to take away 60, 70 yards every game to kind of make up for it. Right. And he helps Kirby and others, be able to get into a position to get an interception or to make a big play. So he is so valuable to this team. Joseph C. No, we have 17 games, buddy. 17 games. All right. Now, did I miss any big questions? I see some questions or statements about offensive line. I'll get into that in just a moment. Are we looking at his arm or leg in in that play? Were you talking about Davenport, Bees? I was looking at both. The long arm, all right? The long arm that he had really, if you're talking about Davenport, the long arm with Davenport getting that good push on the tackle, keeping him long, keeping him, at distance. Then he plants. He plants, but he's got his knees bent, right? He's ready to go, right? He's put his body into a position to launch. And he split those guys, man, like a piece of wood. Did a great job. There's a good statement in here. Nick P says, Bengal season is over. Maybe Trey Hendrickson is rental starting early. Now, Nick, you'll remember, maybe you won't, maybe you will, what I said about Trey Hendrickson. If the Lions are winning and they're in position and the Bengals season was not looking good, the Trey Hendrickson is a guy that now you know what he costs for this year, and he's already playing, and you don't need to put him under a new contract. Then it makes sense to spend about $15 to $18 million this year to bring somebody like Trey in. And if you can work things out, maybe he sticks around for a little bit, but it's doubtful for the kind of money that he's looking for. It all depends on how Aiden plays. I need to ask you guys a serious question. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Has Aiden played to the level that you thought that he was going to play this early in the season? A lot of fans have said that Aiden was going to come out and have 20-plus sacks, defensive player of the year, comeback player of the year, right? He's nowhere sniffing any of that right now. Not even close. Has he played to the level that you hoped that he was going to play? The second part of that is, do you think that he just needs a couple more games to kind of get his body rolling? Because that's where I'm at. I think that Aiden just needs to work it all out, right? He's just got to get back in the swing of things. He's got to feel comfortable again. I do see him favoring his leg a little bit. At least that's what it appears to me. I'm not saying that he is, but that's the way it appears to me. And while we're discussing that, I will go and find the play that I was going to show you guys. Man, Roma Dunze, man. I like that dude. I really do. He's a good football player. 2 tutties on the day for him. All right, let me see if I can get this dialed in now. When I saw this, I was beside myself. I was like, what the hell is he doing? But maybe we'll have a better vantage point. Get the scoreboard off. Maybe we'll have a better vantage point in this one. Brent. Brent, you better hope that Al-Quadin can chuck a whole lot, man. You better hope. How much wood could Al-Quadin chuck if Al-Quadin could chuck wood? I almost had that. That was pretty good. I almost had it. I want to see some answers about Hutch. Don't be scared. I want to see some answers. I want to see some answers from him, too. Soon. Hutch needs to get back to being Hutch. Sooner rather than later. All right, so if memory serves me right, on this play, You know, I got to make this smaller because we got to be able to see Caleb Williams. All right, so on this play, Caleb is going to, I think he's going to fake. Yeah, you know what? Let's just watch it. Here we go. Okay, yep, there it is. So Caleb fakes the pitch. Okay? Caleb fakes the pitch. Ooh, that's stopped in a good spot. Let me grab my marking tool. Aiden, eyes on Caleb right now. He's got this big old lane right here. Why do you think he has that big lane? Can somebody tell me, where's Mike P? Where's Mike P? Is Mike P in the house? Stoopy, then dude, just don't come around then, buddy. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's 99% of the time everything is flawless. Anybody tell me why he has this giant hole here? The reason why is they gave it to him. Exactly. There's Orner U of M Dad. They gave him. They expected Aiden to chase. Right? Ben Johnson knows Aiden well. And he's expecting Aiden to chase. And that's exactly what Aiden does on this play. So Aiden is going to eyes on Caleb. Right? Caleb is going to fake the ball this way to Swift. And he's going to circle back around. And he's going to come this way with the ball. Okay? My marker doesn't bend, otherwise I would draw circles. Let's play it again. Here we go. Fake comes back. Where's Aiden still going? Now he's going to cut back this way. You can see by the angle of his body, he bit. He thought that Caleb gave the ball to Swift. He's going to bite, and he's going to start running boundary to try to cut off Swift in case Swift cuts it back. That's what he's going to do. Oh, what was that, Aiden? What was that? What was that little hop? What is he doing? Look at this hop. Whoop. What is he doing? Let me blow this up for you guys. When I saw this, so imagine I'm behind Aiden right now. I'm behind Aiden's center goalpost. So I'm watching this play extremely close. I filmed it. Every time they get down into the end zone, I always film it because, you know, something cool happens. But everyone kept standing up in front of me today, or in this game. So what is he doing on this play? I think he was worried about his leg. Let me rewind it. What is that? It's taking him out of the play. That's the thing, man. It's taking him out of the play completely. That hop, it's way too much time off your feet. Just like the spin move that takes you out of the play, you know, more often than not. This little hop thing, this is not the first time he did it in this game. One, he made the mistake and realizes that Swift, see, this is when Aiden, let me zoom out. This is when Aiden realized that the ball wasn't going that way. Okay, let me grab my marker. Look at Swift. Look at his eyes. Swift turns around. So when Swift turns around, Aiden's like, oh shit, he doesn't have the ball. And then he turns and the play is over. He starts jogging. Play's done. So anyway, enough on Aiden. This isn't a beat down Aiden episode. Oh, you know, let me go back and show you the end zone. End zone look, so you can see it from the end zone look. I'm just pointing these things out because these are the things that my eyes, they key in on, right? I look at everything. I'm trying to understand what the player's thinking. Like, why are they doing that? And what was the benefit on the play? Like, how did it help or hurt the play? You know, what is the player thinking, honestly? So, I mean, he's just crashing straight down. Caleb has already turned, running the other direction, and look at Aiden. He's facing to the sideline. Caleb's facing the other sideline with the ball in his hand. And look at Branch. This is what's great, man. This is why I love Branch. Look at Branch. Look where he's going right now. Look at Anzo. Where's he going right now? They know where the ball's going. This guy, he's going that way. That would make no sense, period, from any scheme that I've ever learned. If you are furthest away from the ball, you are not chasing opposite field. You're not chasing opposite hash like that. The closest to the ball runs to the ball, right? Aiden needed to protect that boundary side, and he did not. Not to say that they wouldn't have scored a touchdown there. But man, just a weird couple of plays. Yeah, I asked the question about Aiden because I do believe that he's trying to get over, worrying a little bit, that maybe he feels a little bit uneasy still, and it's just going to take some time. So if we're down, Davenport, Aiden's really going to have to step up because Davenport has actually played really well the first couple of games. He's played really well, and he's been a big reason why we've been able to do a lot on the defense. He seems to always be in good position. He doesn't get beat outside. He's got really good leverage, when he's containing. He doesn't get too far vertical. He's the exact opposite of Aiden, but when Aiden finally snaps it together, that's when we love to watch Aiden work. And that's why, to everyone's point that says we need somebody the opposite of Aiden, you're kind of right from the perspective that we need somebody that can be that I hate to say breath of fresh air. That's not even the right term. We need someone to be that calming, demeanor, that presence, if you will, on the other side that's not going to make big mistakes. And while Aiden is trying to figure it out right now, that we do have someone on the other side that can make some plays. Because right now, Aiden's not making plays. The sack was, come on, you guys saw it. Like it wasn't great. I can show you the sack real quick if you like. I don't know if YouTube's caught any of this. And look, I think Aiden's going to be okay. I just think it's going to take time. I really do. I think it's going to take some time. I don't know how much time. I wish we had that magic 8 ball, right? That we knew exactly how much time it was going to take for a player to kind of feel better. And I'm not bagging on Aiden. I'm just saying he doesn't look right now, and we can't have that going into Baltimore. We absolutely can't have it. All right, so on this play, the big bad wolf is right over here. He's gonna go that way. He's gonna take the long way around. Oops. Let me clear that. Try to adjust the screen to give you guys a little bit better of a look. All right, here we go. We'll just run it, see what happens here. Aiden goes out, around, gets vertical. Bang, gets to him. And as you can see, if Aiden didn't get there, the other guys had him, and it was Barnes and who was that? Barnes and Muhammad. So one of those 3 guys was going to get him. Here's the end zone angle. Sorry, my head's in the way. There you go, Aiden. Good job. Caleb just gave up, man. He absolutely gave up. And that's exactly what we noticed last year, that dude deep in games just gives up. He folds like a tent. Okay, what else do you guys want to talk about? I know someone mentioned offensive line. And I think offensive line is a great segue right now because, my goodness, did those guys play well. Tate Ratledge played so well. Last week I said I was really expecting some outside zone, especially if the interior is going to be a little bit tough, or I expected David Montgomery to get the bulk of the carries inside. We were able to run outside. And not only did Penei Sewell do a crazy good job, but Mr. Tate Ratledge, man, played a hell of a football game. He really did. I thought he had great power up front. Really did a great job making sure that he was keyed in on his blocks. Blocking grades for the Detroit Lions were a lot better this week. I mean, there's still some issues there, right? I mean, like Graham and Tate were kind of at the bottom. Giovanni Manu was at the bottom. Christian Mahogany was a 61.7 overall, 55 in the run block, 81.1 in pass block. Taylor Decker, 69.2 overall, 76.1 in pass block, 62 in run. Penei Sewell, your highest graded offensive lineman, go figure, 74/2. 74/2, 75.7 in the run, 66.8 in the pass. His pass blocking is not getting better. What's crazy to me, our pass blocking was good. Was not great for what these guys can do, but it was good. The Bears just did not have a good plan because we didn't have to do a ton of double ups on guys. We didn't send a bunch of chips as much as I thought that we were going to have to. They did have some success on the interior, but man, they kept Goff so clean, like so clean. And even though he did come under some pressure, watching Goff climb the pocket, reclimb the pocket, or climb it back up and reclimb the pocket on multiple plays, the dude was seeing the field incredibly well. And again, when we spoke about the rollouts last week, this is a defense that I expected Jared Goff to use his legs. He did just that, and he got some big plays on all of the rollouts. Here's your numbers for the weekend. 0 interceptions, 0 sacks, only 2 quarterback hits, and only 1 hurry on Jared Goff. That would be a total of 3 pressures overall on Jared Goff. So, man, you want to talk about not having pressure. You want to talk about a team that didn't have a plan at all. Look at the Bears. We're worried about our guys. Every single one of our guys can get pressure on a quarterback, right? But together as a unit, they did a really good job getting to Caleb Williams when they needed to. Let me flip to the other side. On the other side, now PFF only has 9 total pressures against the Bears. I feel that where there were more, it was closer to probably 14, maybe 16. I think NFL Pro had 16. I think it was a little bit more than 9, but what does that tell you? It tells you that the Lions' number one goal was not pressure. It was just keeping him bottled up, right? So where the Lions, decided to get after Caleb on certain plays, they had success. And where they did not get after him, they had success bottling up other things or other players. Darnell Wright is the right tackle. He's the one that launched at Aiden Hutchinson. He had a 90.7 run block grade, 43.7 pass block grade. And what I would love to do which I'll never have time to do because there's just not enough time, is to have somebody break this down to figure out where did the pressures come from and who brought them against Darnell Wright. Well, he only gave up one apparently, and I don't know how that's true. I don't know how Darnell Wright only gave up one pressure this whole game. I mean, then Davenport's the only pressure? Is that the only pressure of the game on the sack against Darnell Wright? It just doesn't make sense to me. But these guys did not have a good game. Matter of fact, let me just whittle it down. Left tackles, Theo Bennett, Braxton Jones, bottom of the list, 64.5, 46 overall. Luke Newman and Joe Tooney, both left guards, down in the 60s. And their center, Drew Dahlman, was the lowest ranked. No, he was close. Yeah, he was the lowest ranked offensive lineman for them. And that dude is supposed to be really good. So here I wanted the Lions to pick Dahlman up. Now I'm kind of glad they didn't. I would have missed that one by a lot. Yeah, so when I speaking of the Branch injury, when I saw the injury, we had what they called on the broadcast a leg whip. What we saw was the leg whip, but it was the immediate impact either on the groin or the hamstring that appeared to cramp him up. And I posted that, and I don't know why. Like, I had so many issues putting tweets out. They were coming out 20 to like 45 minutes late. I would post something, and then it would come out the next quarter or after the half. And so I couldn't go back and edit things. But when I finally noticed a word was missing, a very important word, I couldn't really correct it. So that's what we saw. What we thought was going to be a significant cramp, because when he went down immediately, he immediately grabbed his left leg, and he kind of grabbed it in an area where you would expect a cramp to start coming from. And that was kind of around his hamstring and his groin area. So hopefully he'll be fine for next week. He'll have several days here to be able to rest and get healthy. Rest of your injury report, obviously Marcus Davenport, he did have an ankle issue. I think that was earlier in the game. He did finish the game. So, I mean, that's good news, right? Davenport did finish the game. As long as Dan Campbell wanted him in there, he finished. So the article that I read about it today is, and what we heard from Dan Campbell today, that Davenport exited not once, but twice. He suffered both ankle and shoulder injuries. He was able to finish out the game, but it was pretty clear he wasn't 100%. Now the question is, will he miss any time? Well, Dan Campbell today didn't have a clear answer to the question. I don't think he's going to give a clear answer. It's kind of that answer that he gave for Taylor Decker, right? Got a little bit of something here, a little something going on. We'll see. We're getting another opinion, whatever. And I'm just hoping he's playing a little bit coy, at this point, is what I'm hoping. It's what he kind of did with Decker. I haven't heard anything about Decker being on the injury list, but we'll find out here in a couple of days what that first injury list is going to look like. Obviously, Branch. We spoke about Branch. What else did we have going on? There was, but there's a couple more. Oh, Christian Mahogany. He left the game late in the second half. Campbell did say that he thinks that he's going to be okay, that he'll be all right. We'll see. He's another one we're checking out. That's a direct quote from this morning. And I think that was it. The other one was Aiden, which I didn't see this play. that Aiden was wincing in the second half after a collision. Did you guys see this collision? I missed it. I guess he got folded up pretty bad. But from all accounts, it sounds like he was just a little bit sore. Attila, do you remember at what point of the game it was at? They got flagged. I didn't see a chop block. But you know what? The fact that it happened twice in that game, or I mean that would have been the second attempt at least. Like that really pisses me off, man. I don't know why players got to play that way. There's one thing doing it at the line of scrimmage versus it kind of just happening when it's in the secondary. You know, you get some low tackles, right? It's part of the game, especially out there. As long as you're hitting them above the knee, right? You're fine. You're hitting them below the knee. You try not to do that. But if a 240-pound tight end lowers his head to go down, they lower, you know, their center mass. They lower it. It gets smaller. So that's, you know, you got to aim small, you miss small, right? Well, a big target like that, they get down, and the only thing that's left might be a shin. Cruising. What'd you say the chop block move Davenport got a season injury from? Oh, you're talking about the two-hand chop, the arm chop. Chop block is different. Chop block is different. Late in the third. All right, let me look it up. I think I can tell this thing to tell me where all the flags were. I noticed something different. Like, I can't pick just one team. Like, I thought I used to be able to pick just one team. Play situation. Nope, it's not there. Was it a pass play? Play result. Touchdown, attempt, completion. Fumble. Pre-snap, passing, rushing, receiving. Defense. Yeah, it's not telling me where the penalties are. Interesting. Well, at least I can go by quarter. Do you remember if it was a pass play? Does Phelan still have a show? I don't know. He was at the game. I thought it was crazy to see him there, actually. All right, third quarter. Take a look at all these plays here. I can look for the flags on the right side. Just see. That's what they should do, man. I should email them. They should put a little yellow flag by all the plays that had a flag. So there was only 12 plays here. Caleb Williams, incomplete. Incomplete. I don't see any penalties here. Oh, here we go. Williams sacked, -8 yards. Nope. Let's go to the fourth quarter. Penalty on Terry and Arnold. Oh, you got a DPI that was declined. Was it after the Aiden Hutchinson sack? So Hutchinson got that sack, and then that's when Davenport came back in. Mm. Well, I'll have to come back to that one. I'll look it up and see if I can't do something on it. I want to bring in Rich Eisen for just a moment. Completion in the second quarter. All right, Eric and his elephant brain. That dude, I don't know how he remembers half the stuff that he remembers, man. That dude can remember stuff. It was a completion in the second quarter. All right, let's see. Interception. Penalty on Anzalone, illegal contact. Touchdown. Wow, that's a lot of words for that play. Yeah, I don't see it there either. I'll have to look back. I don't want to I don't I don't want to waste all my time here. Let's bring in old Rich, man, because 3 weeks ago he did it's about a 3-minute video. He was talking about the Lions and all the doubters and where, you know, this season was going and blah, 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 blah. And I feel like it's just a perfect opportunity to go back. Let's go back in time for a moment. Let's listen to what Mr. Rich Eisen had to say.
The story about the Lions, it's simple. Everybody thinks they're not going to be as good because they slipped up last year and got one and done. And B, they lost both their coordinators, and it's going to be on Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's, you know, everybody thinks he's a great coach for a good reason. But so now he's not going to have a bench, and he won't put his stamp on the team because the coordinators will be less than. And plus, we also saw what happened to the last time a championship quality team lost both coordinators. The Eagles took a step back. So everybody's putting that all together and say the Lions are beatable. And he's like, we've got the best roster we've ever had since I've been here. Aiden Hutchinson's coming back. They're not going to have, knock on wood, 90 million people on injured reserve. And let's go. And they're in Green Bay to start the season. Good Lord, what a game that is for week number 1. Wow. And that's the Lions story. Because they're better. Jamison Williams is going to be that much better. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be that much better. The offensive line is one of the best in the league. Jared Goff was an MVP candidate last year. The defense is healthier. It's just, again, they didn't get it done last year.
Yep.
And they got the 1 seed in Detroit. Everyone had to go through Ford Field, and they got one and done by the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels walked into that building with a fresh roster and a great season and took them right out.
To him, man.
But they also didn't have the defense healthy. They didn't have any of their, you know, they had, I mean, who was their top defender that they had healthy? Like fully healthy. They just didn't have it. And everyone can complain about health, but it's just that result, along with the Eagles took a step back when they lost both their coordinators, and Ben Johnson is gone in division, and Aaron Glenn is gone to the Jets, and Goff still has that, you know, reputation in the mind's eye of some people that he's not tough enough. He hasn't proven anything just yet.
Yep.
And it's just like, it's time to beat the Lions, forgetting that they're better, healthier, top to bottom, right? I think I kind of nailed the question about the Detroit Lions. And, hey, Ben Johnson's going to make Caleb Williams better. And, hey, the Packers are deep. And, you know, we will see what J.J. McCarthy does look like with Minnesota. But it all comes down to it. Aren't the Lions still the class of the NFC North?
I think so.
Right.
I think so.
But they're not going to take out the Eagles, and they're not going to take out the
Right,
Commanders, and they're
going
to have a tough time in their division. I mean, this is the conversation.
I don't think any of us are going to take them to go to the Super Bowl, are we?
I have to decide this in the next 8 days.
Piss off, dude.
I'm toying with the idea.
Okay.
I am toying with the idea. Because if I'm sitting here and I'm saying the Chiefs are going to utilize getting their the tar beaten out of them last year in a rallying cry, why wouldn't the Lions? Why wouldn't Dan Campbell do that? And Aiden Hutchinson's coming back.
Yeah,
he could win Defensive Player of the Year.
He could.
I mean,
Chiefs didn't lose their coordinators.
They're saying that they have to, once Aiden Hutchinson blows up a play in training camp, they had to keep it going. Otherwise, they couldn't run plays. Man, the Lions. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.
All right. He says, man, the Lions. Class of the NFC North, right? Class. Or are we the class of the NFC? Talking about how all the injuries, right? And doing everything that the Lions did on the backs of the backs. Like I say, on the backs of our backups. So 3 weeks ago, you have all the doom and gloom. Rich Eisen's trying to walk you through it and say, hey, it's not as doomy and gloomy as you think it's going to be. But he kind of fell for it, too, with the Hutch rule and Aiden coming back. And Aiden hasn't looked the same yet. Hopefully he will soon. Now let's hear what they're saying now. Albert Breer joins Rich Eisen. Lions hang a 50 burger.
Message do you think Dan Campbell was sending yesterday, huh? Against the Bears. And where do things stand for both teams?
I mean, what's so interesting about it, though, Rich, is like how like the whole "we don't know crap" in Week 1 thing actually like kind of came to life with that, because it's like if you put all of those pieces together, okay, the Lions beat up on the Bears, and we thought the Bears were pretty good because they hung with the Vikings, but the Vikings lost, and then maybe the Lions offense looking the way it did in Week 1 was just how good the Packers defense is, because we saw how good that Packers defense looked against the Commanders. So you're sort of putting some pieces together there. Look, like I talked to Jahmyr Gibbs after the game, and I thought the most interesting thing he said was our problem in Week 1 was communication. And if you think about it, an offense on game day has three main communicators: the quarterback, the center, and the coordinator. And two of those three pieces have been pulled out, right? So you have, going into Green Bay, if you're Detroit, a new center and a new offensive coordinator with Jared Goff back as the quarterback. You're playing against a defense that is a new piece in Micah Parsons. You have no idea how they're going to use him, and a loud environment at Lambeau. And so, what Gibbs said was like our communication was really stressed, and we didn't think we did nearly a good enough job of it. Then they come home. They have this motivation of everybody thinks we're dead now. Johnny Morton's got a game under his belt as the offensive coordinator, and they have an opportunity to really put their foot on the gas. And I think there's this chip on their shoulder too, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I think you heard it if you really listen to what Dan said during the week and after the game, you really heard it. It's like Ben Johnson is great and did an awesome job here. And I think they all respect him. But Jamison Williams is a good player. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a good player. Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker are fantastic tackles. Sam Laporte is a great tight end. Jahmyr Gibbs is a really good running back. Jared Goff is a quarterback who's gone to conference title games with two different franchises. I think there were a lot of players that felt like this was about us too. This wasn't just about Ben. So I think it was a combination of, the first 2 weeks of the season, the adjustment and communication. And then I think a few guys, at least a few guys in that building, having a little bit of a hair across their ass about some of the perception on how that whole thing was put together over the last couple of years.
Interesting way of putting it right there.
Yeah.
Did Russell Wilson?
I don't know if your Disney Plus. I think this is my first Disney Plus appearance, so I'm not sure if that's okay.
It's all good. You gotta give me the rules. It's all good. I think that line is in Encanto 2 coming up. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live.
Man, it never fails to impress me when Albert Breer talks. I really like his stuff, man. I think he's a class act. I think he does a great job. He's written some amazing stuff. But I love what he said here. Ben Johnson did some great things for the Lions, but Jameson Williams is a good player, and you know, Penei Sewell is a damn good tackle, and Jared Goff has, you know, led 2 teams to conference championship games, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is Amon-Ra St. Like, it's the players, right? It's the players. So, did Jared Goff carry Ben Johnson? That's my question. Was it Jared Goff the entire time carrying Ben Johnson? Ben called some plays. He absolutely did. Ben was the one with the clipboard in his hand. But was it Jared Goff that was carrying Ben Johnson? And here's why I'm going to make this argument. Because you can call whatever play you want. If you don't have the right quarterback to execute it, the play is worthless. If you don't have the right quarterback to make sure that you are in the right look and you get to the right checks, you make the right calls, the right center makes the right calls for the protections, Jared Goff gets his line protections correct. Like, there's more than just calling a play. You can call the play. I still have to operate it. We have to take that play to the table. And now it's time for us to orchestrate that play and make sure that we have everything in front of us that we need to pull this play off. And that is Jared Goff's job. In more times than not, he executed so well last year. And look what he just did this weekend. I said that if we had more than 28 pass attempts on Saturday morning, I said if we had more than 28 pass attempts in this game, I would be surprised. He had 27. Because Jared Goff connected, oh, was it 23 of them or 21 of them? I think it was 23. I think I called 21 of 28 or whatever. I think he finished 23 of 27. The point that I'm trying to make here is that a lot of those plays, Jared Goff had to be extraordinary. Jared Goff had to be an elite passer of the football. Jared Goff had to be extremely accurate, poised, confident, mobile, sharp, smart, on time. Right? There's so much more after the play is called that depends on 11 men on the field. And I'm not saying that Ben's not a great coach. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is Jared Goff carried his ass. Clearly, so far what I'm seeing out of Ben is Jared Goff is the one that made him look really good. Has anyone ever thought that for just one moment, like people threw out this crazy stat that Jared Goff couldn't win with Sean McVay or Ben Johnson and yada, 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 right? They throw out this crazy stat line, and then John Morton comes in and throws 52 points on the board with Jared Goff. But Jared Goff also did that, 3 times last year or 2 times last year? 50 burgers? And he's led one of the most potent offenses ever in the NFL last season. But then he also did it with the Rams. So was it Sean McVay? I mean, let's be honest here. What do they say about the common denominator? Right? Usually if you are in a crowd of people and there's always this one agitator that seems to be in every crowd that you're in every other week. Let's say you go to a game, you go to a tailgate. There's always that one, idiot that's always drinking too much, causing problems, and something happens before the game, tailgate ends, people are unhappy because of that agitator. And he or she just happens to show up at every tailgate every week. Jared Goff is showing up on every Sunday with Sean McVay, Anthony Lynn, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, and now John Morton. He's the common denominator. And he's dominating with all of them. So who's leading who here? Who's really orchestrating and doing all of the things necessary to win football games? Is it Jared? Or is it the offensive coordinator? I'm going to put my money and lean on Jared because it's few and far between that you see a quarterback go through that many different offensive coordinators and have this amount of success. Doesn't happen very often. Matter of fact, you see it more often than not when you switch teams, you don't play as well. Typically, you have a year or two of having to rebuild, relearn, readjust, get the kinks worked out, and then you might start playing well again. And by then, you're now 2-3 years older, and that GM and coach might be getting fired, and you start all over again. Matthew Stafford's career. Matthew Stafford played really well, but why did the Lions have such a potent offense with Matthew Stafford? Because he's a damn good quarterback. That's why. And Jared Goff is the same way. I get sick of the narratives. We've heard that he was a bridge from day one. He's the one building the bridge, man. Jared Goff is the one laying the bricks. Jared Goff is the reason why I believe Sean McVay is who he is today. I believe that Jared Goff is the reason why Ben Johnson is a head coach in Chicago. Brad Holmes is the one that knew Jared Goff was the guy. Brad Holmes is the one that knew if you bring me Jared Goff, we're way ahead of the curve. I know what this guy can do. Dan Campbell is the coach that pulled it all back out of him to make sure that he had the confidence to continue doing what he's been doing this whole time, which is win football games. Jared Goff carried Ben. That's the end of that. All right. We agree or we disagree? Do you think that Jared Goff is the one that's really the common denominator here? Is he the one that is making this easier for these coaches to evolve and do well, right, in the NFL? Because it's not an easy place to live, man. It's not an easy place to go to work. Salty Pork Chop says, so what I'm hearing from Will is to put my mortgage on the over. No, Salty, absolutely not. You're not hearing that from me. Do not put your mortgage up on the over. That's crazy. Do not do that. Please do not do that. Oh, Lord. I have another like 13-minute video or a 12-minute video of Rich Eisen. I'm not going to play it because he was reacting. I'm going to play the first couple of minutes because it's really good. I'm not going to play the whole thing. You know, him reacting to what Jared Goff did in what the Lions did really this weekend is pretty incredible, man. That, you know, a game of this magnitude is, I mean, they performed at such an incredible level. And you know what I want to finish with? I do want to bring NFL Pro back in, and I'll probably finish with a few plays of Jared Goff before I get out of here. Because I could not believe what I was seeing out of Jared Goff. I expected it. I wanted it. I was hoping that they were going to make him mobile, get him outside the pocket, let him use his wheels, and, you know, the wheels that he doesn't really have, the broken giraffe legs. But, man, when he uses them, when he knows where he's going with the football, like when Jared Goff knows, okay, I'm rolling out on this play, he's fine. He's mobile enough. He's not going to beat a linebacker to the sideline more often than not, right? He's not. But, hell, he's probably not even going to beat most defensive linemen to the sideline, you know, some of them. But Jared Goff is mobile enough. And in this league, you don't even really need to be mobile. But, man, that's not the hardest defense that we've seen. We're going to have some pretty tough defenses that we're going up against. Matter of fact, the Baltimore Ravens, I think the last I looked, 38 or 39 pressures in 2 games. That's a ton of pressure. That's a ton of pressure. So what does that tell me about Jared Goff this weekend? 2.6 seconds. That ball's coming out. It's going to look a lot like the Packers, right? A lot of short stuff. You're hoping for a lot of yak. But what it also tells me is if they're going to sell out and try to get after Goff, you're going to see some big plays probably by J-Mo and St. Brown and Tesla if he gets some more action. You're going to see some big plays by Jahmyr Gibbs in the screen game. Like, go ahead, suck him in. Just keep pulling back and boop, there you go, Gibbs. See ya. Good luck. You ain't catching him. He just can't jump. Hey, he was able to jump and get over the wall, man, and did the old the Ford Field leap. Our defense scares me. It should. They're pretty good, man. They're going to tie it in here over the first quarter. Lions are 1-1. It's a good place to be right now. The call now sign is on. I'll take a couple of phone calls after a couple minutes here, Rich Eisen.
Kickoff hour number 3, which means I already know the answer, and it does not require an answer.
But we'll give you one.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, I really want to answer.
Yeah,
Do you think the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell were sending a message on Sunday? Do you?
Do you? Hang on.
You got that?
Yeah, hold on.
Our favorite Bill Burr soundbite. Do you think
do you?
they were sending a message?
Like Mighty Ducks. Not worth winning if you can't win big.
Exactly.
Gents, I was fearful for the Chicago Bears this week. The narrative that has been sitting out there. Oh, the secret sauce for Jared Goff. It's Ben Johnson. He's gone, and so is your opportunity to score points. How does a 50 burger sound to you with Ben Johnson in their house? And then, Ben Johnson's going to turn around Caleb Williams. That's what he's going to do. And so if Caleb Williams is turned around in their house and Jared Goff and the offense suffers, that's a double narrative salted away that Ben Johnson was the real reason that the Lions could do what they did on offense and thus win 15 games and be the 1 seed last year. Coming in with as many consecutive losses in a row as they had total losses last year, including obviously the playoff loss to the Washington Commanders. Potentially, it's Ben Johnson's doing, is it not? I mean, that stumble bum play that happened in Chicago was the moment that the Bears maybe thought, this is our guy. Jared Goff stumbling around, throwing for touchdowns on purpose. That guy's gone, and so are the Lions on offense, and thus, in general. How does 52 points sound?
A lot.
It is indeed.
So many.
Second most, tied for second most in a game all time. And how about Goff? Boy, Jared Goff, boy, you can't do jack without Ben Johnson. How does a 5-touchdown, no interception game do? He's now had 3 of those as a Lion. Stafford only had 1 in his tenure. Amon-Ra St. Brown, what's he going to do without Ben Johnson, huh? We didn't see him very much of significance in week 1. How does 100 yards and a touchdown by halftime sound to you? That's what he had. First player with 100 yards receiving a touchdown in the first half of a game this year. First 100-yard first half game of his career. Oh, that's Ben Johnson on the other sideline.
I didn't know that.
How about Sonic and Knuckles scoring a touchdown for the 10th time as teammates Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery now have as many such games, 10, as Paul Hornung and Jim Taylor and Hugh McElhaney and Joe Perry had for the Packers and Niners respectively. I'll give you a little hint. They're all in the Hall of Fame. How about that? Oh, and just in case you think you're missing Aaron Glenn, too, how about we just get all over Caleb Williams and Kirby Joseph comes up with his 18th career interception, most since 2022. I mean, we talk about it's the second most of any safety this century. In the first 4 seasons of a career. So Lions, I think we're sending a message. You know, how about Jameson Williams and all? I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on because the Lions did on Sunday, and restored a little bit of faith in me as they were restoring that roar in Ford Field for choosing them to win the conference. And you heard Albert Breer saying in hour 2 the issue was communication in week 1, according to Jahmyr Gibbs on offense.
Makes sense.
Dan Campbell, I think, was communicated the narrative. And I told you, watch out. It's not the roster. It's certainly not the head coach. It's the guy who's now the head coach of the Bears. And it's not like Ben Johnson was the one who started that narrative. We're all in the media, the ones who've been talking about it. And I think Dan Campbell wanted to shut everybody up.
I mean, I don't know all that. I know this. That was a tough loss last week. That was tough. We went out there. We expected to play much better than we did, and we didn't give ourselves a chance. Green Bay got after us pretty good, and so I think more than anything, that was a big part of it. I think we answered a lot of questions as it pertains back to what you said. I've said this all along, man. This train keeps rolling, man, and we got plenty here, and it always is going to start with the players. We got players, we got playmakers, and they're made the right way. They're the right kind of guys, man. They know how to get in the ditch and just start digging, man. They don't worry about the other stuff, so it's a good job.
Good job, indeed, I would say. Can confirm. Good job. Ben Johnson didn't want to hear about the run up the score stuff. I liked his response, actually. Hit it.
Do you believe Dan Campbell ran it up on you on that 4th and 4
What's he supposed to do? Is 4th and goal, what do you want him to do? Yeah, he could have kicked the field goal. They don't kick field goals. They go for it there. So he was doing what he was supposed to do. That's what he does.
How demoralizing is this loss, considering you were coming back, you left for Chicago?
It's not demoralizing at all. It's not demoralizing at all. We got to play better. Simple as that.
Okay.
Not demoralizing my ass. I love how Ben. Oh, poor Ben. Ben is such a likable dude. Like, he really is. And now he's got such a punchable face. He was so livid at that question. But he answered it spot on, man. What do you expect him to do? I'm telling you right now, if Ben was if the shoe was on the other foot, if Ben, bent over, and the shoe was on the other foot, he would have ran up the score. He would have taken every opportunity to put 50 on the board. The crazy part is the Lions could have hung 70 on this team. And I wish they would have. Had they not missed out on a few opportunities after turnovers and stops, man, they could have done it. And even going to 60 would have been nuts. 50 was enough. Pretty impressive day for the boys in blue. Pretty impressive day. What else did I have? Where's my phone at? There's a couple of things that I forgot to add, to the whole Jared Goff thing, but Jared is the one that threw 5 interceptions in the Texans game and came back. Right? That was Jared. Jared was the one in a monsoon, in Green Bay last year and was able to deliver the football when the run game was not working, right? Jared was the one against the Seattle Seahawks last year that threw a perfect game and a couple of perfect passer ratings, which, oh, by the way, he was perfect in this game through the third quarter. And the only reason why it wasn't perfect at the end of the game is because his next 4 throws in the fourth quarter were all for completions and touchdowns. Right? And they were short. They were shorter passes because the run game was working so well. Jared Goff is the one, flat out. He is the 1-6 of the Detroit Lions. Oh, man. Question. So we heard that, the question was asked to Dan the other day. This team has not lost 2 games in a row going back to however many months it's been now. 40 games or something like that. I don't remember. It's been a long time. But here's my question. We lost to Washington, then we lost to the Packers. So we did lose 2 games in a row. We lost to Washington to end the season. We lost to the Packers to open the season. Did we all forget that? Now, we haven't lost 2 back to back in the regular season. So I don't know how that counts anymore. But I guess if you're counting regular season only, then it counts. How insane was our rookie Tyleik Williams, man? He was great, man. And again, I love all the doubters. You know why I love all the doubters every year? Because I get to come up here and puff my chest out a little bit and say, I told you so. I'm just kidding. No, I'm really not. When you got it, man. And Tyleik Williams has it. He is going to be a special dude. I think a lot of people a lot of fans didn't like him or were going to doubt him because he's from the OSU. Right? Had that dude been wearing a winged helmet, you guys would have loved him. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong at all. And if it would have been any other helmet than OSU and not Michigan, you still would have welcomed him in. But because he played for the OSU, it was an immediate, oh no, this guy's going to suck. Oh no, that was the wrong choice. Tyleik Williams was responsible for a couple of stops in this game, big time stops on a 4th down. And I didn't even really. Oh yeah, that fake hammy cell. Oh yeah, that was great. That was great. The other one, I guess, that I missed the whole stumble bum celebration that they did. And I didn't realize this until Rich Eisen said it, that the stumble bum is what happened against Chicago. I don't know how I forgot that. And so they did the celebration to Ben for the play that he drew up against Chicago. Like, that's just, come on. Come on, man. That is a super troll award right there. That is insane. They were absolutely trolling. I love it. I need to go back and watch it. All right, let me pull in some video and then I'm going to get out of here. The thing is on. It was on. What's going on here? Let me turn it back on. All right, if you guys do want to call, everything should be good to go. I haven't been able to take a caller since everything fell apart. But if you do feel like calling, feel free. You say whatever the hell you want to say, outside of something terrible. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. But I want to try to find some of these Jared Goff plays real quick. I could have sworn that this was different last year. That I could really dial it in, and it's just different. We'll do completions. We'll do second quarter. We'll do reception. We'll do passing. We'll do intermediates. We'll do 10 to 19 yards for Jared Goff. I'm sure Caleb Williams isn't going to have very many. Well, that's weird. Why did that only show up for Caleb Williams? That's really weird. That dude didn't throw squat. Okay, let's go to the first quarter. While I'm dialing these up, let me did you guys bring in some questions or something here? Man, what a beautiful pass that was. Let's get to the next one. I'm trying to find the ones where Jared Goff was really doing a good job climbing that pocket when he was having some pressure. Even though it doesn't count, there was like no pressures against him. There was pressure. At least according to some stats, there wasn't a whole lot of pressure, but I noticed pressure. Okay, it's not that one. Two, three, four, five. Yeah, here we go. Here's a good one. Now, this isn't one of the best ones that Jared Goff did. Okay, let's watch this guy. He's going to, where's my marker at? Here we go. So Jared's obviously going to get the ball right here in shotgun, and then he's going to survey the field, and then he's going to step up, and then step up again and throw the ball. He did a really good job here. And this isn't, like I said, this is not one of the best ones that he did. There was a couple that he really climbed. All right, pressure's coming, climb, gets the ball out. Consistently looking downfield. Consistently looking downfield. So the end zone look. Just a beautiful play, man. We'll just go to this next one. I don't know if this is one that he climbed or not. Oh, yeah, there's pressure. Didn't climb there. It's Caleb Williams. Let's go to a different quarter. Like I need to change my parameters here. All right, so this is Jared Goff. I believe it's third quarter, and this is like a plus 20. I think it's a plus 20 here. Yeah, no climbing there. What a beautiful ball to JMO. You know, I got to go back to that. For everybody that said that Jared Goff doesn't have an arm, let's go back to that. Look at this dude. Let me fix this a little bit so I can get a better look at Jared. All right, watch Jared, man. Just watch how he doesn't really step into this a whole lot. Just flick. And you see where he threw that ball from? He just flicked it. So he's sitting at the 50. And he's at the 53, we'll call it. He just sets and tosses, man. Just a quick flick. And that ball's caught at around the 2. That's a 50-yard shot. Flick of the wrist. Yeah, but Jared, he can't sling the ball. Jameson Williams going to outrun every pass. Flick. Bingo. That is a hell of an arm. Accurate, deadly arm. Let's go to the first quarter. All right, none. Second quarter. Should be a couple, I thought. This past Isaac Tesla. We got to watch this. My goodness. This dude is so special. Wow. 2 passes, 2 catches, 2 highlight reels, catches that you're going to see like once every 4 or 5 years, it seems like, in this league. And he's just doing it like it's nobody's business. You know, it's just crazy how good that he is already. All right, let's go back to the first quarter. These are under 10 yards. Again, I'm trying to find somewhere he climbs. And these are all short left, short right. I'll have to do some research and I'll have to save them, and then I'll come back to this because it's a lot of tape to go through. What I'll do is I'll go make a book of them. There was a question in the chat, and it said, "Will, were you happy with how Glasgow played yesterday?" Much better game from him, obviously, much better game. You know, if we go back and look at some of his stats and how he performed, you know, I would say he didn't do much wrong. I think the communication, like everyone's been saying, was his biggest problem. It was everybody's problem in that game. And what is the thing that we spoke about last week during one of the shows? Take some of the stuff out, man. Install that bread and butter, man. Just get to those plays. And once you get to those plays, everything's going to be all right. And that's exactly what they did. So just keep doing that, and they're going to be fine. Now, this next week, look, I don't really think that they need to change a whole lot. I really don't. Yeah, it's the Ravens. They're a good team. Lamar Jackson's been around for a minute. He's not getting any younger. He's not getting any slower, but I don't think he's anything different than what the Lions need to prepare for, you know, week to week to week. I don't care what team they're going up against. You've gone up against, you know, this will be third straight mobile quarterback. And for the first 2 weeks, we didn't let a mobile quarterback do anything. Nothing. Now, Lamar is a different athlete than both of those guys combined. And I say it just depends on how we handle Henry. Right? If we overcommit on Henry, then I think Lamar has a good day. If we overcommit on Lamar, then Henry has a good day. So they're going to have to play it. They're going to have to play it tight. I would say just don't get out of nickel. Just stay in nickel. And put your bigger safeties on, more often. Put an extra safety in, go into the dime look, whatever. Put a big safety in there and get after him. Cunningham had a good day, according to Dan Campbell. I didn't notice anything pop, but Cunningham does have a little bit more speed, and I do believe that he can cover a little bit more ground against Lamar, and maybe you'll see a little bit more Cunningham in this game. Maybe it'll be Cunningham in there versus Barnes at times. Barnes is good in coverage. I haven't been very impressed with his run game yet, but we'll see where it goes. I'm going to get out of here. It's almost 10 o'clock. I got to be back here at 8 o'clock in the morning. I still got a lot of prep to do to try to get through a show tomorrow morning. I don't know if Riley's coming on tomorrow. I think Eric is sick, so it could just be me. I'm not real sure. Tomorrow is usually a day for Riley. Let me text him real quick because I do got to test this stuff. But outside of getting things fixed tonight, I think we did okay. I think we did okay for now. So that'll be it for tonight, man. Glad you guys were able to hang out with us for a little bit, or hang out with me for a little bit. And tomorrow we'll just kind of jump into a normal show, and Wednesday we'll start breaking it down, man. Wednesday is Ravens Day. That's when it starts. So hope you guys have a great night, and don't sleep on this one too much, man. We got to let this one go. We got to move on to the next one, and we start on that on Wednesday, but tomorrow's Tuesday, so we'll be talking about some more stuff, I'm sure. You guys have a good night, man. Probably go Detroit Lions. You guys take care.